how you decided to come to Canada from Pakistan, what were the early challenges you faced, and how did you cope up with that?
The early challenges that I faced when I came here was, mainly understanding English and, just working in general. Because,
What do you think, how did front desk agent or night auditor shift helped you in your career?
The skills while I was working in the hospitality industry, it helped a lot. Because, when I was working as a housekeeper and even when I was working as a front desk agent or in the frontline operations, I developed a lot of fundamental skills which is required in the corporate world, which would include the communication skills, the organization skills, the interpersonal skills, and those fundamental skills actually helped me to land an internship opportunity and then land a permanent job within the government as well.
And what are the steps people should take in order to make sure that what job they're looking for, or if they're applying?
So
how important is networking?
The best platform for networking these days is LinkedIn.
What is your advice to a younger kid who's in his final year?
There are a few advices that I could offer. One of them, is
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for another podcast today. I have a very special guest who is actually a senior analyst in a government position for province of Ontario. He belongs from Pakistan and was able to get a job in the government sector. So we are gonna take his expertise and his advice of how to explore government opportunities and land a job there. So welcome with me, Mr. Ahmed, who has joined us today. So thank you, Ahmed, for joining and giving us time today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ahad.
Thank you. So Ahmed, first of all, let's start with the discussion of how you or why you came or how you decided to come to Canada from Pakistan. What were the early challenges you faced and how did you cope up with that?
That's a very interesting question, Ahad. I came to Canada, when I completed my diploma in business commerce, and I knew from the market that the job hunting and finding a job after completing your bachelor's in commerce is very hard in Pakistan because it's very, very competitive. So through talking to multiple people and doing my own research, I got to know that Canada is a very good country to explore and explore to study and then explore the career opportunities in Canada, the career opportunities. So through my discussions with my family members and and through my own research, I decided to apply to come to Canada to first study, and then now I'm here working full time. The early challenges that I faced when I came here was mainly understanding English and just working in general, because I came from Pakistan where there's not a specific culture of people working while they're studying. So when I was doing my commerce, I was just studying, and then in the evening I would just chill with my friends.
Right.
So when I first came here, I had to manage my studies along with working as well.
Right.
With coping the challenges for speaking English, I did complete my IELTS before landing here in Canada,
right.
And that actually increased my listening skills and my speaking skills and my writing skills, which was very important for me to have that skills when I come to an English speaking country where all of the lectures are in English as well. So I completed my IELTS, I came here, and I first started through references. I got a job in the housekeeping in the hospitality industry, and I build some of the skills in there, like I used to clean the bathrooms, I used to clean the hotel rooms, and there would be a lot of challenges in working with people as well. So first I started as a housekeeper, and then I expressed my interest and my background to my operations manager at the hotel that I started as a housekeeper in, and I expressed that since I've been working in the housekeeper now I know the ins and outs of the hotel, so I can add more value into the frontline operations as well. And then I was given an opportunity to work as a night auditor, a relief night auditor, and started my journey working in the hospitality industry. I spent a couple of years working in the hospitality industry, along with managing my own studies as well.
Right.
And then, while I was in my third year, I would say,
So Ahmed, when you came here and you got a job landed from reference, right? What do you think? How did hospitality industry or the front desk agent or night auditor shift helped you in your career or in your studies, if it did at all, right? And another thing, how were you able to manage studies with education? Because again, as you said, back home there is no culture of working while you're studying.
Yeah.
So how did you manage it? Like I must say it must be hard, right? Like to getting into a culture where it is normal, people study and work here. So how did it help you?
The skills while I was working in the hospitality industry, it helped a lot, because when I was working as a housekeeper and even when I was working as a front desk agent or in the frontline operations, I developed a lot of fundamental skills which is required in the corporate world, which would include the communication skills, the organization skills, the interpersonal skills, the problem solving skills. All of the skills I did develop in my while working in the hospitality industry, and those fundamental skills actually helped me to land an internship opportunity and then land a permanent job within the government as well. With respect to what you asked me about managing workload and the educational workload as well, you just have to do it. When me coming as an international student, I had to make sure that I earn some income as well to support myself while I'm here, because it's very expensive, right? So I had to do it. I used to work. I used to go to school in the morning, and then within the hospitality industry, I asked for the accommodation from my front desk manager that I have a school in the morning, but if there's any evening shifts available or the night shifts available, then I can do it. So what I used to do, I used to go to school in the morning, and in the night time I used to work as a night auditor or the front desk agent. And when there was a downtime or slow time, then I used to complete my assignments, which was fine as well. Because if there's no,
it all worked out for you.
It did work out, because as a relief night auditor on the weekend, it is busy around from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. But after that, you still have like 1 hour or 1.5 hours where it's okay to complete your assignments, and that's what I did. That's how I managed all of my assignments and continued working in the hospitality industry as well.
Right. Now, Ahmed, how or why did it come to your mind to explore this government opportunity? Because I've heard these misconceptions from people who have come to study in Canada, and they think that if you don't have a status in Canada or if you don't have a PR, there's no way you can get a government job. What was your journey to get this job today?
It's a very interesting question and a funny awkward question, actually, because it was a few years ago when I was in my third year at the university, and at that stage, every student is looking to get some kind of corporate experiences from an internship opportunity or like a student opportunity. So I was in that stage as well. I was close to completing my graduation. So I was trying to explore the internship opportunity to gain some practical corporate work experience in the summer or as an internship, to finally land a permanent job after completing my graduation. So I applied to tons of internship opportunities and summer student opportunities as well in the private sector, and it was still the COVID-19 time where the restrictions were kind of easing, but then the job market was still competitive. So I applied to numerous jobs and did not, to be honest, receive a positive feedback. I did received few responses, which were not directly related to my field. But I wanted something which is related to my field, and which in which I could apply my learned knowledge from the university into the practical world. Then again, I did not have any positive response, so I continued my search, and I finally came across this summer student opportunity with the province of Ontario. And the qualifications were pretty basic. You had to be a student, you had to have some basic fundamental skills like customer service or communication, basic math, and basic financial skills. I was really excited to apply for the job, and before applying, I did had some discussions with few people to better understand the process and the challenges. And as you said, there was a misconception, where I was told, and the same responses I got from everybody, that the government jobs are very competitive, and you had to have a certain immigration status, like a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, and there was a lot of pushbacks from me. But I knew that it was a summer opportunity, and then that job posting specifically did not have any immigration requirement. I know for some federal postings or some provincial posting, there is a requirement for you to be a permanent resident, but for that posting it wasn't. So I took the chances, despite the odds seemed very challenging. I took the risk of applying to that summer opportunity. I was like, what could go wrong? The worst would be, they might not just hire me, right? So I did apply, and was thrilled to receive an interview a few weeks later, and was hired on the spot actually. And I was very excited at that interview that I didn't care about who was on the panel, and I shouted yay because I was just hired. I couldn't believe it. And that's how I got my foot into the door, and that's how I explored my opportunity. There's a very interesting lesson that I learned that day, Ahad, and I'll tell you and your viewers as well. That how the transferable skills that I had from the hospitality industry, and how my knowledge from the university, and how taking chances can prove wonders, right? Despite the odds seems challenging and difficult, I would say do not let that hold you back from applying to the position that you're very interested in, or applying to the position that you are interested in, that aligns with your field. Because every job opportunity helps you develop the skills that polishes you and prepare you for your next journey as well.
Right. Now, Ahmed, the one question, like I'm not sure if what you got hired into as an intern, is that still available? Is that program or still out there? Can you tell my viewers how they can actually apply for it, where to look for those kind of jobs?
Yes, those opportunities run every year.
Okay.
The summer student opportunities runs from, I think the program runs from May to August, I would say, but then the hiring starts a bit earlier. So the hiring, I think the jobs or the opportunities gets posted on the Province of Ontario website, and it can be easily searched. If you search Go Jobs Government or Ontario, and you select the career level as an entry level or a student level, you'll see a summer opportunity. That postings, those opportunities get posted around January, February time.
Right.
I think you have to submit your application by mid-February. So yeah, just look out for those opportunities. Those opportunities are still available. Even the internship opportunities runs every year as well. Right. I think for the internships they hire around September, like they start receiving the application around September, October time,
right.
And then the internship program starts around January or February. Yeah.
Right.
So those opportunities are still available. The way that I got my foot through the door, those opportunities are still available. Yes.
Right. So once you started as an intern, what were your next steps to? I'm assuming you're permanent now with.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But like, what are the steps, or how did we go from an intern who started with the hope that you're gonna get a job? What are the steps that you took from there to getting permanent, and what are the steps people should take in order to make sure that what job they're looking for, or if they're applying, that they can actually secure a job within the government?
That's a very good question. So when I first got hired as a summer student, I made sure that I utilized that 2 to 3 months opportunity and gain as much experience as I can, build as much relationship as I can with my senior managers, with my colleagues and peers. So what I did was I made sure that I excelled in that 2-3 months. I made sure that I demonstrated all of my skills and all of the value that I could bring to that role. And then I learned that by working in there that if I want to secure the permanent job, I would have to stay within, because there's as we just mentioned, that the government opportunities are very competitive, right?
Right.
And there are a lot of posting that that are limited, that goes out to external. So I wanted to stay internal, so that once I'm fully graduated, I could apply to the internal posting and get a full-time permanent job. So what I did was, after completing, or just before completing my summer student program, I had a mentorship session with my regional manager. I'm like, I really like working here. I'm in my third year. There's only just 2 semesters left. It would be a good opportunity for me to just stay working part-time somewhere, so that I can secure a permanent job after graduation and continue contributing to the province. So they mentored, and they provided me the options that I had. For example, there was a part-time opportunity in Service Ontario, which was about 1.5 hour drive from where I used to currently reside, right, or work as well in the hospitality industry. So I took that risk. I took that risk of applying to that job without any hope, because I didn't know if I was even going to get that job being a student. But I just got lucky, I guess. So I was able to get that part-time position at Service Ontario as a customer care representative, and I took that risk and demonstrated the courage to travel to Service Ontario, travel to Peterborough location, drive 1.5 hour, along with maintaining my third and fourth year courses as well. It was a very tough time at that time, because it was really hard to cope up with the assignments and the work pressure. I used to even stop the car at the site, pull over, and then complete my assignments, and then carry on, because there was no time to go back and then complete the assignment. So I would just sometimes just utilize that time in the car and then complete the assignments. Once I was in my fourth year, and then I was close to my graduation, there was an opportunity, an internal opportunity that opened up with this ministry. I applied for that job, and now I'm here. Landed as a permanent job. Yeah.
That is great. Now, Ahmed, another thing, what are the differences that you have seen, because you have been involved with a private sector job as well, right? Like when you said you worked for the hospitality industry. What are the differences between a private sector job and a government job?
There's quite a few differences, actually. So first big thing is the government jobs they come with a big security. They are very secure that once you land a permanent job, then your job doesn't go anywhere, right? Even if you there's another benefit with that job security. There's a lot of room for advancing yourself and moving up the ladder as well, by even maintaining your home permanent position. For example, when I got a permanent position as a senior tax analyst before, I wanted to explore more opportunities. So I went on a secondment. So government has a very good benefit of going on a secondment with maintaining your home position. So let's just say if I have a permanent position as a customer care representative, and I want to explore the opportunity in a tax industry,
right,
I can go in there, explore the opportunity. If I don't like it, I can come back. That's a big benefit that I don't think that happens in the private sector. Like if you want to move or change your career path, you lose that position, right? So that's a good benefit. The job security is a very good benefit. The government positions are unionized. So unionized, once you are unionized, you're protected from like unfair treatments, and again the job security as well. And another good benefit is the government has a good pension and a retirement plan, which private sector I don't think they have. They can compare, or they have the similar benefits and pension plan.
Right.
They're very big on that.
Right.
And the last benefit is the compensation. The salaries are very competitive in the government, especially at the entry level roles. I could ask you that a customer service representative in the private sector would make currently around roughly $18 and $19 an hour, right? But in the government sector, that same customer care representative makes around $29 an hour. That's a big difference. But then the other benefit is salary schedules are fixed. Like in the private sector, if you start at $30 an hour, you don't know where you're going to get in 2 years or 3 years, right? You might get a raise 1 year, you might not get it, you might not get anything. But with government, before you are even applying, you know that this position will give me for example, $30 to $35, and you will get there. That's the good benefit, where in advance how much you're going to make how much you can make at maximum. If you start at $30 an hour, you will for sure get there in 3 to 4 years at $35 or $40, whatever the maximum salary schedule for that position is. That's a good benefit. And the other last benefit I would say, it depends. It depends on what your interests are, because with working in the government sector, you're providing services to public, With private sector, your main focus is maximizing the profit, and that because the corporate companies runs on profit, the government is non-profit, so the purpose is different as well. So for me, I choose to be in the government, and I find that is beneficial for me because I like giving back to my community, right?
Right.
So that's the thing.
Right. Now, Ahmed, how much do you think networking plays a role in getting a job like the one you have landed? How important is networking?
Networking these days is very important, because it helps you build connections. It helps in people recognizing your name, because the name is everything. If you network with some regional manager or some senior manager, and you build a good connection with them and they have your name, let's just say if you're applying for some job, your name will play a big role. So networking is very important, and that's even I am here because of networking as well, because throughout my career, even in the hospitality industry and even in the government sector, I made sure that I built excellent relationship with everybody throughout my career, even in the hospitality industry with my colleagues, with my managers, in the government sector with my regional manager, senior manager, and executive. I would say the best thing is to best part of networking is you get to learn from the experiences. You get to learn what are the challenges that could face, and what are the ways that you can improve yourself. What are the skills that's needed in the corporate world? And I think that's very big. It's very important.
So what would your advice be, or what are the tips you can give to my viewers of how to create networking, like a student, right, who's in his third or fourth year? Are there any networking sessions that that the government does? Can they go on to those sessions, or is there anything that they can go into and create these networking opportunities?
The best platform for networking these days is LinkedIn. As we all know, LinkedIn is a big platform to find jobs, connect with people, and that's a good opportunity to network with the executives and people.
Right.
Depending on the job, there are some sessions as well, like an information session that the province actually hold and gives the opportunity for the applicants to learn more about the position and get to know more about the position itself. So I find that it's a good opportunity when you know that you saw opportunity and you see that there's an information session, get on that. I would say schedule a block.
And how would we know about when it's held, or is that posted somewhere on the government website or anything?
Yes. So the province career portal, when they post a position, sometimes for some position they do hold that information session, and the information for that session is within that job posting as well. So I would say just block that calendar and make sure to attend those sessions, because that's your chance to get your name out there, learn more about the position, show your interest, show your dedication, and then again, LinkedIn is the best platform. I'll give you an example. I have connected with many people as well on LinkedIn. People I had few people who applied to the province of Ontario jobs, and they wanted to just get my opinion, get some tips from me. They wanted to just schedule a session with me. So networking plays a big role, because I was able to kind of give them my experiences and my knowledge and I would say tips to them, so that how they can do better in their interviews, or how they can prepare their application, like resume or interview, or how they can approach the interview better. Because now when they know that I'm working there, so they get like a special advantage of utilizing my expertise and my knowledge and my experiences, so that they can help themselves land a better job, and that's all through networking.
So Ahmed, just because you said you do networking sessions and you give tips on resumes or interviews, how about you give tips to my viewers? What do you think they can work on in terms of their resume or their interview skills, and what tips or advices you can give to them to get a job in the government sector?
Resume and cover letter is your only way to shine at the first stage of the hiring process, because that's the only chance or opportunity that you get to get your name out there and shine within your application. And the tips that I would give to your viewers, of preparing an application, you have to understand the job. You have to make sure that you do your proper research. And once you know that you want this job, I would say spend a lot of time updating your resume and updating your cover letter. Understand and read the how do I qualify section very, very carefully. I know I've met a lot of people who create a general resume and apply to 1,000 jobs.
Right.
That's not going to work. And I want to emphasize that whenever you're applying for any jobs, whether it's with province, government, or private sector, you have to make sure that you tailor your application according to the job description. Because I'll tell you what, if somebody does not read the job posting properly, do not understand the job properly, and do not tailor their application, they're giving the hiring manager a hint that they're not interested in their position because they lack the attention to detail skills, which is very important. If you're not going to tailor your application according to the job, you're giving the hiring manager that you're not interested because you did not even spend much time to update your resume. So I would say that understand what the requirements are for the job, and write a good professional cover letter explaining how those skills, how you have those skills and how you have demonstrated those skills in your previous roles. And don't underestimate your experiences as a volunteer, as a student, because there might be a qualification around leadership or communication. Maybe you do not have it in a practical experience, but you did use those fundamental skills at your school. Let's just say if a student is applying for a job, they probably worked on a project, right? Then you use your leadership and communication skills to manage that project, work with your fellow peers, and these are the skills that you need to highlight. Don't underestimate your experiences as a student, as a volunteer, or any practical experience. So make sure that you prepare your resume and cover letter well polished, tailored to the job application. Use those buzzwords within the job application. For example, if the job ad says you need communication skills, just that. But you can't just paste that on your resume. You have to mention where did you use that communication skills, how did you use them, and what were the results.
Right.
And when I go to the interview session, right, the best way that I use, and it's a proven interview method technique that I use, is called the STAR model. STAR is situation, task, action, and results. So whenever, even with the government sector or in the private, this model helps. It's a proven success model for handling the interview question. So I would give an advice to use that interview model when you're asked a question. Explain the situation. Or let's just say if the question is around dealing with irate clients, right? So you have to explain, when answering, you have to explain what the situation was. Why was the customer upset, or why was the customer angry? Then you have to come into a task. What was your role and responsibility to fix that problem, right? And then again, it comes to action. What steps you took to make sure that the problem is resolved and the customer is happy. And then the last thing is results. Once the situation is resolved, what were the outcomes? Was the customer happy? And then while you're using the STAR model, I'll give you a secret tip, and your viewers as well. I'll give a secret tip. With using the STAR model, what I would do, and that works for me as well, and it works wonders for sure. Use a self-reflection model as well. So whenever when we are dealing with any situation, the human brain always reflects on how could I make this better. If when dealing with irate clients, I could have done that. I could have proposed this to a customer to make him happy.
Right.
In an interview, tell them that I did my self-reflection, and what I always thought about making a self-reflection and making sure how can I approach this situation or similar situation better next time. So use that self-reflection model to make sure that your answer is complete and shine as well.
Perfect. STAR model. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, STAR model. People also call it PAR model or hamburger model. It's the same thing.
Ahmed, one last thing for my viewers before we thank you for your time, by the way, again. What is your advice to a younger kid who's in his final year, or somebody who's just finishing his career, or he's deciding of what to do with his career? What would your advice be?
My advice would be there are a few advices that I could offer. One of them, is embrace every opportunity.
Right.
No job is too big or too small. Embrace every opportunity. Start somewhere. As I mentioned, I myself started as a housekeeper. I would say, every opportunity offers a unique lesson and a growth opportunity to, help you in your growth professionally and personally. So embrace every opportunity, because every opportunity and every experiences that you gain by working or by being in that experience prepares you and polishes you for your next adventure. Like, take me for example. I started as a housekeeper, and now I'm here working as a senior analyst, right? So I know that my housekeeping experience prepared me to contribute and add value to the frontline operations. So I did that, and then those combined experiences and my university knowledge prepared me and polished me to have a summer student opportunity in the province, and then the cycle keeps going, right? So the first advice would be to embrace every opportunity. No job is too big or too small. The second advice that I would give is take chances, take risks. You have to get out of your comfort zone, even when the odds seem difficult. Take the chance. It's okay. The worst that can happen is you won't get it, or you won't. You'll just have to find other ways to apply or other opportunities. But there's no harm in taking risks. So take risk. Get out of your comfort zone, because that helps in being successful as well in the future. The last advice that I would give is build connection and networking. Networking is the key to success. Get on LinkedIn. Whatever job you're applying for in any sector, whether government or private, search that company and see who you can connect with to find and get tips and mentoring session if possible, and if time permits, because that way, when you learn from leaders and when you learn from your experience or seasoned people, that helps you continuously work on yourself and helps you polish yourself as well. So that's the best advice I can do. And I would just end it with a note that embrace every opportunity, and when you're applying for your application, make sure that your application is tailored. I would say it again and emphasize it, because that's very important, because application is the only thing that helps you shine for the hiring manager. If you're not going to tailor your application, and if you're going to update your resume and application one time and use it for multiple jobs, it's not going to help. It is not going to help. I'm saying it again, because you're going to give the hiring manager to say that and think that you're not interested because you did not put enough time into your application. So when you're applying for your job, make sure you understand the job and tailor the application, and it will do wonders.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for your time. I really appreciate it. Actually, I learned something today, star model.
Star model, yes.
Thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, viewers, I hope you guys did find this podcast for your motivation and some knowledge. I actually learned star model, and the biggest thing that we learned today is no job is too small or too big. For next time, thank you. Bye-bye.